Remember Monica Lewinsky? Take a look at her net worth. It will shock you. From White House intern to international infamy, Monica Lewinsky's name became synonymous with the biggest political scandal of the 1990s. The blue dress, secret recordings, the impeachment hearings, her entanglement with President Bill Clinton, catapulted a 22-year-old woman into a global media firestorm that many assumed would destroy her life forever. No one could have predicted what would become of Monica after the scandal, revealed a former White House staffer who worked in the Clinton administration. The consensus in Washington was that she'd never recover financially, professionally, or personally. The world essentially wrote her off as someone whose life had been permanently derailed before it had really begun. For years after the scandal, this prediction seemed accurate. Lewinsky disappeared from public view, struggled to find employment, and faced crushing legal bills estimated at over $1.5 million. As the millennium turned, she seemed destined to remain. A cautionary tale of how quickly a young life could be devastated by the machinery of politics and media. But something remarkable happened that few could have anticipated. The past decade, Monica Lewinsky has engineered one of the most unexpected financial and personal comebacks in modern American history. Today at 51, her net worth and professional accomplishments stand in stark contrast to the dire predictions that followed her. In the late 1990s, most shocking is not just that she survived the ordeal, but how she managed to transform a scandal that nearly destroyed her into the foundation of a multi-million-dollar career and platform that has made her wealthier and more influential than anyone could have imagined during those dark days of public shame. But first, let's explore the financial devastation that Lewinsky faced in the immediate aftermath of the scandal, and the surprising first steps she took to begin rebuilding a life that had been shattered under the global spotlight, but only recently. It was several months ago that I give my very financial ruin that nearly bankrupted her. The immediate aftermath of the Clinton scandal left Monica Lewinsky not just emotionally devastated, but on the brink of financial collapse. The young woman who had entered public service as an unpaid White House intern suddenly faced legal bills that would have crippled even a wealthy executive. Monica's legal expenses were catastrophic, explained a Washington attorney familiar with her situation in the late 1990s. She needed high-powered representation to navigate congressional testimony, grand jury proceedings, and the aggressive tactics of independent counsel Ken Starr's investigation. Her legal bills quickly exceeded $1.5 million, an impossible sum for someone her age with virtually no savings. These legal obligations were just the beginning of her financial troubles, unable to find conventional employment due to her notoriety. Lewinsky faced the practical challenge of supporting herself while being perhaps the most recognizable and unemployable young woman in America. Companies wouldn't touch her, revealed a career counselor who attempted to help Lewinsky find work in the early 2000s. Human resources departments would immediately reject her applications, fearing that hiring her would bring unwanted attention or controversy to their organizations. She was essentially blacklisted from normal career paths despite having a master's degree from the London School of Economics. This combination of massive debt and limited income opportunities created a financial crisis that seemed insurmountable. By the early 2000s, Lewinsky had moved into her mother's apartment to save on living expenses, and was reportedly considering bankruptcy as her only option for escaping the financial hole that the scandal had created. At her lowest point around 2002 to 2003, friends were genuinely concerned about her financial survival, noted a person close to Lewinsky during that period. She was avoiding social gatherings because she couldn't afford even modest expenses like dinner out with friends. The contrast between her global name recognition and her personal financial reality couldn't have been more stark. This financial devastation makes her current net worth all the more shocking. A transformation that began with an unexpected opportunity that would provide her first step toward financial recovery. I tried so hard to move forward from 98 in so many different ways, and surprising first million that changed everything. Monica Lewinsky's journey, from a financial devastation to surprising wealth, began with a controversial decision that divided public opinion, but provided her first significant financial lifeline, a reported $1 million deal with British publisher Channel 4 Books for her 1999 memoir Monica's Story, written with Andrew Morton. That book deal was absolutely essential to her survival, explained a publishing industry executive familiar with the arrangement. It wasn't just about telling her side of the story. It was the only viable way for her to begin addressing the mountain of legal debt that was crushing her. Critics called it profiting from scandal, but from Monica's perspective, it was financial self-defense. The memoir represented just the first step in Lewinsky's gradual realization that the very notoriety that had destroyed her conventional career prospects could potentially be leveraged into alternative opportunities. Following the book, she negotiated a reported $300,000 interview with Barbara Walters that drew massive ratings for ABC and further helped stabilize her precarious finances. These initial media deals provided crucial breathing room, but didn't resolve her long-term financial challenges. With traditional employment paths still largely closed to her, Lewinsky made an unexpected pivot into entrepreneurship, launching a line of handbags under the brand name The Real Monica Inc. In 1999, the handbag venture revealed something about Monica that would become increasingly apparent over the years. Her surprising business instincts, noted a retail analyst who followed the launch. While many dismissed it as a novelty business trading on her name, she was actually hands-on in the design process and showed legitimate talent for product development. The line generated solid sales initially, though it couldn't sustain momentum long-term. This entrepreneurial experiment, combined with paid appearances and spokeswork, allowed Lewinsky to gradually stabilize her finances throughout the early 2000s. However, her net worth remained modest compared to her eventual financial position, with estimates from that period placing her assets in the low seven figures. Enough to resolve her immediate legal debts, but not substantial wealth by celebrity standards. What's remarkable about this phase of Monica's financial story is her determination to create income streams despite overwhelming obstacles, observed a financial advisor who works with public figures facing reputation challenges. She wasn't receiving handouts. She was actively looking for ways to generate legitimate income while navigating unprecedented public scrutiny. That resourcefulness would prove crucial to her later financial success. This initial stabilization provided the foundation for what would become a much more significant financial transformation in the decades that followed. One built on a complete reinvention of her public persona and professional identity. Too young to kind of understand the news or who hadn't even been born yet. I don't know. The anti-bullying empire no one saw coming. It's the most surprising chapter. In Monica Lewinsky's financial resurrection began around 2014, when she made a strategic decision that would ultimately transform her. From scandal figure to respected advocate and open unexpected revenue streams that would dramatically increase her net worth. Monica's pivot to anti-bullying and anti-cyberbullying advocacy wasn't initially driven by financial considerations, explained a public relations expert who has observed her career evolution. It was an authentic response to her own experience, as perhaps the first person to be globally humiliated on the internet. But this authentic connection to the issue positioned her uniquely in a growing field that was increasingly commanding significant corporate and institutional investment. Lewinsky's 2014 Vanity Fair essay, Shame and Survival, marked her official return to public life after nearly a decade of relative seclusion. The powerful piece reframed her experience in the context of online harassment and public shaming, issues that had become increasingly prominent societal concerns. This reframing resonated deeply with a public that had grown more sympathetic to the dynamics of power, gender, and media exploitation that had characterized her story. That essay fundamentally changed her market value overnight, noted a speaking agency executive familiar with Lewinsky's career. Before its publication, she might have commanded $10,000 to $15,000 for speaking appearances, primarily trading on her notoriety. After repositioning herself as an expert on cyberbullying, her speaking fees jumped to $25,000, then $50,000, and now reportedly exceed $100,000 per engagement for corporate and university audiences. This speaking career has become the foundation of Lewinsky's financial renaissance. With dozens of high-profile engagements annually at premier institutions and corporate events, her annual income from speaking alone is estimated to exceed $3 million in recent years. A remarkable figure for someone once considered unemployable in conventional settings. Beyond speaking engagements, Lewinsky has developed multiple revenue streams around her anti-bullying platform. She has served as an advisor and spokesperson for anti-bullying technology companies, created educational